part of your morning. Let's get into it. Let's start with roster decisions, okay? And listen, we put this article up a little while back over on our Patreon group, and all we're going to focus on here, guys, is going to be a real quick segment. We're just going to kind of give everybody a quick refresher. And I want to know, everybody in the comments, let me know how you feel about some of these players that you might potentially cut or restructure their contract. And we did update it since, obviously, Trayvon Diggs has been cut by the Packers to free up $15 million. However, this is the list of highest cap hits of 2026. All right. Again, Trayvon Diggs was on this list because it was just a $15 million salary. Obviously, you're not going to carry that $15 million. You let him test the market. Hopefully, you can get him back for half that, maybe around $10 million, if the Packers were impressed with the minimal time they had in terms of having him there at practice. So here is the list, the highest cap hits for the Green Bay Packers in 2026. Jordan Love, $36.1 million. Rashawn Gary, $28 million. Aaron Banks, $24.7 million. Elgton Jenkins, $24.3 million. Micah Parsons, $19.2 million. Xavier McKinney, $19 million. Josh Jacobs, $14.5 million. Devontae Wyatt, $12.9 million, fully guaranteed with the fifth-year option. It's wild that he's 28 years old. He may not be the future three-tech, guys. They may have just looked this like a patch deal and go find the future this year. It could be the case. Nate Hobbs, $12.8 million. Zach Tom, $12 million. Keyshawn Nixon, $7.1 million, which, by the way, Keyshawn Nixon got – I don't mean to laugh. He got voted the Pro Bowl, so congratulations to Keyshawn Nixon for making the Pro Bowl. I did hear, though, he did finish the year with the most pass breakups of any cornerback in the league. That's a positive, right? If we're trying to keep things positive on this morning's show. So, and then you got Christian Watson, $6.9 million in that kind of bridge deal they did there. LVN, $5.5 million for Lucas Van Ness. Brandon McManus, $5.2 million. Isaiah McDuffie, $4.9 million. And then Matthew Golden with his rookie contract, $3.9 million. So let's talk about who to restructure. William Jenkins starts it off, says Gary needs a restructure and go. Completely agree, William. Completely agree. And you guys know I'm a big Gary fan. I think he's gotten a lot of hate over the last few years that was unwarranted. He was your best pass rusher before Micah got here. After Micah went down, he was still your best pass rusher. No matter if you're looking at quarterback pressure percentage or sacks, he led the team right outside of Micah. But the number has officially gotten to the point where you've got to make a move here, right? And let's just start there because we know Jordan Love's going to be on this team, right? Obviously, the dead cap attached to Jordan Love is $98.4 million. You're not moving on from Jordan for at least 2 years if it ever gets to that point. I don't think we should move on from him. I think he's your franchise quarterback. I want to be very clear about that. But Rashawn Gary, $28 million cap hit. His dead cap attached is $17 million. It is worth noting, though, he's under contract for a couple more years. So even though we're showing if you cut him outright this year, pre-June 1, it's $11 million in cap savings, or a little less than that, I believe. Some people are reporting. If you go post-June 1 cut, it's $18 million. Okay, now what you're doing is you're kind of choosing to spread out that dead cap hit over this year, 2026 and 2027. If you want to wipe it completely off the books, you just cut them outright, right? Now, what would a restructure need to look like? And I think everybody's probably got their own opinion when it comes to Rashawn Gary and the restructure. What would it be worth? What would you be willing to pay against the cap for Rashawn Gary to be on this roster? Your answer may be cut him. I don't want him on the roster. I completely understand. I get it. I want him on the roster. I want all these guys on the roster at the right price, right? So with Gary, the $28 million cap hit, if you can get him to take a pay cut and get that number down to, say, $15 million, I'd be okay with it. Now, that's a big difference, right, between $28 million. So you're talking about shaving off roughly $13 million off the cap. Now, you can do that in a way where you guarantee a little bit more money for him, but the goal should be to try to get that down to around the 15 mark. If you could shave $13 million off the cap and keep him on the roster as opposed to cutting him outright and only freeing up $11 million, or going post-June 1 cut for $19.5 million in cap space, I'm all about it. Now, could you sell me on an $18 million cap hit? You could. $20 million, you probably could, to be honest with you. But for me, 15 is kind of that number that I'm settling in on. I want to know what everybody thinks in the comments. Let me know what you think there. I'll go back and read them later and kind of see where everybody's at. But that's what's on the line with Gary. Again, $11 million in savings this year, or post-June 1 cut, you could free up $19.5 million this year. I think it's safe to say it's not a crazy thought that Gary might have played his last snap as a Packer. He's also 29 years old. You know, we've seen the videos that he doesn't look like he's got the burst he used to have. Obviously, he had the ACL a few years ago. I don't think he's been the same since that. So it's just he's still such a good run defender that I wouldn't mind to have him to stay on the roster personally for the right price, of course. So next on the list, Aaron Banks. This is an interesting one, right? Aaron Banks, 29 years old, $24.7 million cap hit. The dead cap attached is 20.2. So essentially what you're talking about is freeing up $4 million in savings with a pre-June cut. Okay. Now, post-June cut, $18 million. Whew. Don't want him on the team. I mean, I've seen enough. It would take a huge pay cut to justify bringing Aaron Banks back. Now, am I saying the Packers going to do that? No. I don't know what they're going to do, but I am not going to be surprised if he's back on the roster again. I hope Goody just cuts bait, cuts his losses, post-June 1 cut. Keep in mind, you got to carry that cap penalty until June if you do that, so you don't get that cap space immediately. That's the other downside to just going post-June on all of these cuts, right? Now, if you can restructure with him and bring that number down, what number would we want him back at? Boy, that's a low number. It's to me, I put him right there with Elgton Jenkins. 10 million. 10 million against the cap. If you can get the cap allocation down to 10 million, I'd be okay with bringing Aaron Banks back. Same thing with Elgton Jenkins. You see right below him at 24.3 million. 24.3 million with Elgton Jenkins is it's just last year of his contract. So essentially what you got there is 24.8 million is his cap hit, or 24.3 is what it's settling in at. I apologize. Just call it 24 million. If you cut Elgton Jenkins, you free up 20 million immediately. Elgton Jenkins is gone, or it's going to be a huge restructure for him. So here's the problem. We've been talking about you can't continue to go out there with the youngest roster in the league. You can't do that every year, right? Something's got to change. Well, if you cut both of these guys, you're probably going to have the youngest roster in the league. You're talking about cutting a 31-year-old and a 29-year-old, right? So there's give and take there. If I had to choose between the two, I would restructure Aaron Banks, cut Elgton outright, let him test the market, try to get him back at 10 million. That's what I would do. I'd love to have them both back at the right price. But if you lose both of them, then we can't complain about the penalties again next year. We can't complain about the blown blocking assignments again next year, right? The offensive line has to be re-bolstered, okay? Now, if you're guaranteeing me that Tyler Linderbaum is going to be on the market, that the Ravens are not going to re-sign him, he will be a free agent, and Goody will go after him, sign me up. If you can guarantee me that Goody will be willing to outbid everyone else to get Tyler Linderbaum at center, and you can guarantee me he will be available on the market, I would be okay with cutting bait with both of them, because now what you've got there essentially is you've got an all-pro caliber center in Tyler Linderbaum stepping into your starting center role, and now you just need to fill in the left guard spot, right? And you can do that through the draft. You can do that through free agency. To me, that's the perfect scenario. The perfect move here, guys, is literally move on from both of those guys and go get Tyler Linderbaum as your starting center. Now, there's a couple of other free agents out there that would probably be of equal value in terms of on-the-field play. We talked about that. You can find those videos down. If you scroll down the channel under the videos tab, you'll see some kind of free agency title there where we've talked about some of those top free agents. You could go get one for 6 or 7 million that would play equally according to PFF and their efficiency grades and all that stuff, and really what you see on tape. You could get, the point is, you don't have to pay $24.8 million against the cap, $24.3 million against the cap for the level of play you got from Aaron Banks and Elgton Jenkins. It's just the reality of the situation. You got Elgton now coming back from an injury. Aaron Banks was banged up early last year as well. So I would move on from both of them, go get Tyler Linderbaum, go get another free agent guy. So what you could essentially do, if Tyler Linderbaum number does fall at 17 million, like it's being reported according to Spot Track fair market value, if that's the case, then you would free basically Aaron Banks post-June, you would free up $18 million. Elgton, you'd free up $20 million right now. So you're $3 million in the good with Tyler Linderbaum as your starting center. Now, actually, you'd be a little less than that because that first year of the contract's always a little lower. Tyler Linderbaum's number would probably be around $15 million if the AAV of the market value is accurate at 17 mil. So you're coming out $3 million in the good there, and then on down the road, you're freeing up $18 million beyond June. And then you could go into free agency and probably get one for less than $10 million that would play as equally, good as Aaron Banks. Then you've improved both positions, right, in my opinion, and you've lowered the cap hit for both of them. To me, that's the move. and then you take your swings in free agency. It may be a Keelan Rutledge. It may be a an interior guy like a Jake Slaughter, a Connor Lew, a Logan Jones, Pat Coogan, somebody like that, right? But you just can't go out there and do the same thing and expect a different result this year, right? So that's kind of how I'm seeing the offensive line there. Now, next on the list is Micah Parsons at 19.2. Obviously, the $113 million dead cap going to keep you. You want to hold on to Mike. I believe we all agree. One that keeps getting tossed around, two of them actually. Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs. People are like, Josh Jacobs played his last down for the Green Bay Packers. I'm going, are we really wanting to move on from Josh Jacobs? You guys hit me up in the comments. Am I wrong there? Like, hey, I'm seeing several people. It's mainly radio hosts, and maybe they're trying to get a little bit of interaction. I don't know, but in no world do I not want to bring Josh Jacobs back on the Green Bay Packers. You might restructure the deal. $14.5 million against the cap, 6.2 dead cap. If you go post June 1, obviously you're going to free up a lot more than that. But I want Josh Jacobs on this roster, man. Xavier McKinney is like without question. Why would you not want to bring It's I don't know. It's wild that even got brought up. But Xavier McKinney, $19 million against the cap, 11.5 dead cap. Obviously, post June will free up even more than that. So really, really interesting to kind of see what the Packers are going to do in terms of this roster restructure here, or the contract restructures here with the players on the roster. Nate Hobbs, I think you bring him back. I mean, you can go post June 1 cut and free up a little bit more, but it's 12.8 against the cap. Dead cap's 12 million. He was banged up. When he was on the field, I didn't think he was bad. Maybe you guys disagree. But to me, I kind of look at him as like the floor. Him and Keyshawn are the floor. If you decide to hold on to Keyshawn, I'm not opposed to holding on to Keyshawn. I'm just opposed to just slam dunk. These are going to be your starting corners, right? You got to go out there and try to get somebody. And if you make some moves here, obviously you'll have enough cap space to go out and potentially grab a free agent corner, right? Although that's where Goody struggled. I mean, Nate Hobbs was his handpicked favorite in free agency last year to kind of help bolster or fix the cornerback room. And at least right now, it feels like he swung and missed, right? So got to do something a little bit different there. So like I said, that's just a quick look at your contract restructures and how you can free up some cap space going into this offseason. If you guys are watching this video back later, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about those restructures? How do you feel about what we said in offensive line, Aaron Banks, Elgton Jenkins? Would you guys like to see it unfold that way? Would you like to see something a little bit different? We want to hear from you in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified anytime we go live here in the future.